So there are three basic keys to language learning. The first one is learn pronunciation first. Singers learn the pronunciation of languages first because they need to sing in these languages long before they have the time to learn them. In the course of mastering the sounds of a language, our ears becomes more attuned to those sounds, making vocabulary acquisition, listening comprehension, and speaking come much more quickly. While we're at it, we pick up an accurate accent. 2 is don't translate it. Not translating is an essential step in learning how to think in a foreign language. We will discuss in the detail about this in lesson 12, but in long story short, it's the key component to develop your ability to think in a foreign language. When you stop translating, the process of understanding becomes much faster, which results in fast communication. If you keep translating the words, the process in your brains looks like this. Let's say you are learning Japanese, somebody talks to you in Japanese. You first translate that in your brain to English to understand. You think about your response in English, then you translate it in Japanese and tell it to the other person. But if you don't translate in your brain, the process is quite simple. You think in Japanese and respond. 4 steps to 2 steps. By throwing away English or whatever language your mother tongue is, we can spend our time building fluency instead of decoding sentences word by word. The third rule: use spaced repetition systems. Spaced learning is a training technique that involves short training or learning sessions with breaks between the sessions. College students often think they can get the grades they want by cramming for hours the night before a test. This simply isn't the case, unfortunately. I know the pain. Rather than focusing on a long periods of learning, we learn better when our brain cells are switched on and off, or with short periods of learning and breaks in between. The key to long-term memory formation is not the amount of time spent learning, but the amount of time between learning. By switching your learner's brain cells on during learning and off again during breaks, the learner's unconscious has time to internalize the knowledge. Then the repetition of this process is what solidifies the information in long-term memory. Researchers has also shown that the longer breaks between teaching sessions can result in longer lasting memories. So next time when you're studying a language or trying to learn something, don't cram, okay? Learn a little bit, give it a break, learn it again. And by repeating this process, even though it's going to split into a longer period of time, you will actually spend less time actually learning the thing, and you will be able to memorize it more easily. And in order to do this, we need to plan ahead, of course. I know what cramming looks like. Been there, done that, still doing it, but this is the way you learn.